Critical comments by NEC Director Kevin Hassett on Squawk Box yesterday about some New York Fed researchers kicking up some controversy. Senior economics reporter Steve Leisman is here with more. Hey, Steve.
Hey, good morning, Joe. NEC Director Kevin Hassett's call for New York Fed researchers to be, quote, disciplined for their conclusion that 90% of the president's tariffs are paid by U.S. consumers and businesses, sparking criticism. Here's what he said.
The paper is an embarrassment. It's, I think, the worst paper I've ever seen in the history of the Federal Reserve System. The people associated with this paper should presumably be disciplined because what they've done is they've put out a conclusion which has created a lot of news that's highly partisan based on analysis that wouldn't be accepted in a first semester econ class.
More than the first semester econ class, the report was an extension of the methods the researchers used in a peer-reviewed paper based on Trump's 2018 tariff. Scott Lincecum from Cato telling me last night, leaving aside Hassett's troubling smear of those economists for having the gall to do their jobs, his claims are simply wrong. The White House can attack the messengers all they want, but it can't change the data. And at this point, the data speaks for itself. In fact, there are 7 papers that came to a similar conclusion. Kiel Institute says 96% paid by domestic entities. Yale Budget Lab, 96%. An NBER paper said 94%. Goldman Sachs said 88%. Former New York Fed President Bill Dudley telling me last night the conclusion is no surprise. This is what studies have found for years. Hassett's reaction is shoot the messenger. The New York Fed researchers appear to have done exactly what Hassett accused them of not doing. Taking into account how tariffs change import volumes, they did find the share borne by exporters increased slightly over time, which is good news, as importers rearrange some supply lines. Hassett also criticized the researchers for failing to account for the rise in real incomes in 2025, but economists find it difficult, at least so far, to connect tariffs that push up costs to higher real incomes, especially when manufacturing lost 83,000 jobs in the past year. And also, Joe, I'm getting comments about the effect on freedom of research and speech because of those comments.
When it happened yesterday, I thought it's just more loose talk and bluster that we get from not just the president, but some of the president's men and women as well. And in fact, if you were watching the interview, I just kind of skipped through that and went to the assumption that either much or most of the tariffs do fall on U.S. companies and U.S. consumers. From that, I went to whether it's a regressive issue, because a lot of people want companies to pay more. And it's raised so much in tariff revenue that some of the big, beautiful bill deficits are actually being cut a little bit by some of the tariff revenue.
Right.
So why not like it? Why not embrace that there are, if it's a tax on U.S. companies and U.S. consumers, a lot of people, then we got to the issue of whether it's a regressive tax, because no one wants that. But, you point out that there hasn't been, the income gains haven't, you can't say that we're seeing you can't really say that we're seeing the inflation from the tariffs that people were expecting either yet at this point.
I think there's a way to parse that that's really important, which is, I think the inflation from the tariffs or the rise in prices from the tariffs is there. What's happening, Joe, is it's being offset by other things. And when I sat here and reported on the dangers or the concerns about inflation from the tariffs, it was 2 parts. It was, one, it raises prices. The bigger concern was whether or not it would spread to other things, right, especially coming out of an era, by the way, where we had this high inflation, and that was the concern. And the debate was, the Fed wanted to wait to see if that happened. It increasingly looks like it's not happening. But the rise in prices from tariffs seems to be more or less what was expected.
So, let's look at all the policies holistically then. It results with oil prices and deregulation and whatever you want to attribute it to. The employment stayed okay. You were talking 2.4% inflation, so that's the sum total of it with the offsets that you just talked about. There is a rationale which caused the Biden administration to leave a lot of the tariffs on. The rationale for trying to rebalance global trade is still there. So if you look at everything in total, if it works in terms of onshoring and in terms of maybe, recalibrating.
The Deer story today.
Yeah, the Deer story. So in total, I just don't know if it's nuanced. I say that a lot on Twitter now.
I think the criticism is sort of what Kevin's saying is the researchers should incorporate on the come what he thinks going to happen. And, Joe, I disagree with you but I don't think you should be disciplined.
No, and I
don't think you're an embarrassment. But I disagree with you.
I'd like to discipline you little. No, I don't. Number one,
it's really the language.
No, but I know. It's loose
Let's stand
talk.
up for comedy. C-O-M-I-T-Y.
Hey, look.
Let's stand up for people. Kevin used to be that person.
Here, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you something that you're going to like. I'm calling it. Loose talk and bluster, and how would you discipline reset? It's not even a feasible thing to do. But then I'd bring up, Lisa Cook and maybe the New York Fed's making a new building with a lot of cost overruns. So there are ways.
Not the New York Fed.
I'm kidding.
All right. Okay.
In other words, there are ways that the Trump administration could theoretically go after.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, well, that's what I said. You didn't say it, I said it.
By the way, we'll have Stiglitz on in just a little bit.
I think that's smart to see this as a piece of the attack on the Fed. It's just another piece right there. And look, these guys can be wrong. They can be dead wrong. But does that mean they should be disciplined? And is it an embarrassment?
That was loose talk, and that was shooting the messenger. That was shooting the messenger. And I glossed right at that.
I'm glad we are in the same place on this, Joe.
Okay.
Makes me feel better.
Stiglitz won a Nobel Peace Prize.
I still think you should not be disciplined.
Trump did not win a Nobel Peace Prize, but Stiglitz won a Nobel Peace Prize for global warming.
Economic.
Coming up.
So that
economics.
No, he won one.